We're going to call this meeting to order. It is 5:01, and we are in the Joe N. Idelette Junior Teacher Education Center. And the purpose of this meeting is our final budget adoption. At this time, would you please stand and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. All right. So, let's see. I'm going to recognize Dr. Moxley to please explain the purpose of this meeting.
Thank you, Mrs. Zork. The purpose of tonight's meeting is for the board to adopt millage rates and a budget for the 2019-20 fiscal year after receiving public input. The trim advertisements, which is truth and millage, have been placed according to the specifications of law. Trim requires that the first issue we discuss at the public hearing is concerning the proposed millage rates for the fiscal year. By law, the budget is required to be adopted after the adoption of the millage and after public input on the budget. Madam Chair, after the consent agenda and action agendas are approved, I will review the proposed 2019-2020 millage and budget, followed by public input from the public. Then the board will adopt the motions with roll call votes.
Okay. So at this time, we are going to adopt the orders of the day.
Move approval. Second.
Okay. We do not have any items for consent. Okay, would you like to speak to your motion?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, still getting used to our new formats here. So we're moving on to action agenda. So we are going to look at item A, discussion of rollback rates and proposed 2019-2020 millage rates. Dr. Moxley?
Yes, I'd like to invite Ron Fagan. Is there anything you need to do? Yes, please. And we'll have you come here.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Hi.
To the chair, to the board, and Sue. This hearing is the last of two public hearings required under Florida statute to provide the public with an opportunity to get input into the final millage levy and the final budget for this fiscal year. The notice of this meeting was in the public through the direct mailing from the property appraiser's office in August. The mailing is known as the trim notice. The proposed millage rates for 2019-2020 fiscal year, school year, is 6.5690 mils. This is a decrease of 0.2240 mils, or 3.3%, from the 2019-20 millage rates of 6.7930. As outlined in the trim requirements, the district must disclose the rollback rate. The rollback rate, millage rate, is 6.50075 mils, which is lower than the final millage rate for 2019-20 of 6.5690 mils being adopted tonight. Therefore, the rollback rate is a positive 1.05%, which means that the average taxpayer in Indian River will pay 1.05% more in school taxes this year. The Indian River School Board is asked to conduct a public hearing to adopt the 2019-2020 final millage rates and related resolutions. The millage rates for 2019-20 are as follows. Required local effort, including prior period year funding milling adjustment, is 3.8210. Amount to be raised is $73,034,921. Basic discretionary operating Millage rate, 0.7480 mils. Amount to be raised, $14,297,336. Additional voter discretionary operating, mills to be levied, 0.500. Amount to be raised, $9,557,043. Local capital improvement, final millage levy, 1.50 mils. Amount to be raised, $28,671,128. Total final millage levy for the district is 6.5690. Total amount to be raised is $125,560,428.
Okay.
Questions?
Okay, we're ready to move on to the next item,
Okay,
to
B.
do the public input.
okay. Okay. Action agenda item B, public hearing on 2019-2020 millage rates. So at this time,
At this point in time, I need to confirm that we have documented that this public hearing was properly advertised in accordance with state statutes.
okay. And it has.
It has been, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we now recess this meeting to conduct the public hearing as advertised. The public hearing is now in session. Dr. Moxley, are there any written responses to the advertised public hearing to be read at this time?
We have received none.
Okay. The public is invited to address this issue at this time. No? Okay. Is there any individual representing an organization or his or her own personal or public interest who wishes to speak? The chair concludes that the announced public hearing on September 10, 2019 has been concluded pursuant to the notice, and the ample opportunity to address this issue has been provided to all. The board meeting is reconvened at this time.
So at this time, we're recommending approval of Resolution 2020-05 for adoption of the 2019-2020 millage rates as presented and explained by Mr. Fagan.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second. Okay. So we can speak to your motion, Mrs. Justice?
No, ma'am.
Any other discussion? No? Okay. So at this time, since there's no further discussion, Mrs. Esplin will conduct roll call.
Mrs. Berenborg?
Yay.
Mrs. Rosario?
Yes.
Dr. Schiff?
Yes.
Mrs. Justice?
Yes.
Chairman Zork?
Yes.
The resolution is passed unanimously, 5-0.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So we are going to move on to action item D, discussion of proposed 2019-2020 budget.
Yes, members of the board, I am going to again invite Mr. Fagan to come forward as we briefly provide a discussion on the proposed 2019-20 budget. This is a final hearing.
Morning again, afternoon again. The board is requested to adopt the 2019-20 final budget and certify the adoption by resolution to the Indian River Property Appraiser, Tax Collector, and the Department of Revenue. The following budget for 2019-20 school year is as follows. General operating budget in the amount of $173,580,985. Special revenue budget in the amount of $24,709,641. Debt service budget in the amount of $25,771,422. Capital outlay budget in the amount of $46,665,660. Internal service budget in the amount of $28,582,144. Enterprise fund in the amount of $1,957,979. Total final budget, $301,267,831.
Thank you, Mr. Fagan. We're ready
Okay.
to do the public hearing.
Dr. Moxley, have you documented that the public hearing was properly advertised in accordance with state statutes?
Yes, we have.
Okay. We now recess this meeting to conduct the public hearing as advertised. The public hearing is now in session. Dr. Moxley, are there any written responses to the advertised public hearing to be read at this time?
We have none.
The public is invited to address this issue at this time. Is there any individual representing an organization or his or her own personal or public interest who wishes to speak? It's unfortunate, but there is not anyone here, but the chair concludes that the announced public hearing of September 10th, 2019 has been concluded pursuant to notice, and the ample opportunity to address this issue has been provided to all. The board meeting is reconvened at this time.
Yes, members of the board, I am recommending approval of Resolution 2020-06 for adoption of the 2019-2020 budget as presented by Mr. Fagan.
I'll move approval.
Second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Fagan for all of your hard work and for your team's hard work, answering all my questions, I'm sure other board members' questions as well, even sitting with me today and answering whatever questions I had, so I appreciate that. I know that this has been a lot to undertake in such a short amount of time, and I think you've done a beautiful job with it, as well as your team, so thank you for that. And I also know that it's hard for us, especially three of us as being new, to look at a big budget like this where we haven't had our hands on it all year long, and then all of a sudden looking at it and seeing it change and change and change. So I appreciate you answering all the questions I had about updates. And just maybe in the future, if we could get updates in bold or something like that, that would help probably with answering a lot of those questions. Thank you.
Would you like to speak to your motion? No? Would you like to speak? No, I just, what Mrs. Barrenborg said, I know that coming in, when you come in and the way that our accounting system had been transferred over into the other accounting system, so I know that you had your challenges, but we do appreciate all the staff that spent here many hours on the weekends, and so we do appreciate that, and it does not go unnoticed. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you, and I know that maybe you can go back and relay that message. And it's, such a privilege to have Mr. Fagan on board, so we appreciate having you here. Would you like to say something?
The only reason we're here is because of my team.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So at this time, we will have a roll call. Mrs. Asplin?
Mrs. Barrenborg?
Yes.
Mrs. Rosario?
Yes.
Dr. Schiff?
Yes.
Mrs. Justice?
Yes.
Mrs. Zork?
Yes.
The vote is unanimous with a 5-0.
Okay. We are moving on to closing comments. I'm not familiar with this.
It's just if there's anybody that has any
Okay.
closing comments to the budget hearing
Okay.
process.
Any closing comments?
You know what Mrs. Barrenborg said, what Mrs. Zork said, and what Mr. Fagan said.
Okay.
Thank you. I would just say that, thank you for bringing such a strong conclusion to what has been a difficult year financially, and for the optimism with which I think we are all looking into the next year and to our whole finance department moving forward. So thank you all for that. That's all.
Do you have anything?
I do. What an incredible team. Very fortunate. to have the folks that we have here, and I'm so thankful Mr. Fagan has joined us. And I also want to recognize that Ben Osipian has joined us as our Assistant Superintendent for HR and School Administration. And so our administrative team is complete, and everybody is working hard, and the three ladies in the back, just incredible, and how responsive they have been as I've stepped in and been such a great resource. So thank you. Thank you so much.
All right,
You're good.
Suzanne?
Nothing, thank you.
Nothing? Okay. All right, so we're going to adjourn this meeting at 5:16.